Hi. Perhaps you're an orchestral manager and your guest conductor for the night demands extra rehearsals that will take you way beyond the budget you've been given. Or perhaps you're the manager of a creative colleague working on a new product, wanting just a bit more time, just to make it really great, even though the deadline you were given is long gone. So you politely explain to the conductor or the product designer, "Nope, sorry, that was the limit you agreed." And maybe, to make matters even worse, your manager who sets the orchestra budget or the product deadline now tells you that he or she has just been visited by a very angry conductor or product designer. So, could you just try and make it work? Just a tad more budget perhaps? I'm sure you've got some spare somewhere. A bit more time, squeeze some out. Surely that's possible. Has something like this ever happened to you? How have you felt about it? Undermined? Powerless? Frustrated? Silly? Cross? Betrayed? Puzzled? Angry? Maybe all of the above. This video suggests some possible ways forward for you. I'm Alistair Pearce from Working with Creatives, the organisation that helps you work with your creative colleagues. But back to you. To you, the orchestral manager or product design leader. The weirdness of your angry situation is that all of you caught up in this situation are in fact in agreement. You, your manager, and doubtless your manager's manager all want the deepest creativity from the conductor or designer. And this desire is shared by the creatives themselves, so you all agree about that. And it's a big thing to agree on. You're all pursuing the same goal, creative excellence. I'll prove it. How would you feel if, having told the conductor that he or she can't have that extra rehearsal, they replied, "Okay, a mediocre performance, that's good enough for me"? And I suspect you too, would be disappointed, even shocked to hear this pragmatic but uninspiring reply. And by that reaction, are we not tacitly accepting that creatives should, and in fact must, always argue for the deepest expression of their creativity? For them to accept mediocrity would be a betrayal of their art and skill. And from this, it's not much of a jump to decide it's the creative's duty to always stretch the resources he or she has been given until their deepest creativity emerges. And the other thing you already know is this. The job of the manager is to set up the environment around the creative to make that deep creativity actually happen. And that's where your ouch comes. What you, the manager, can, however, expect and indeed demand is that responsibility is accepted at the correct level of your organisation for decisions about extra budget or additional time. It's not okay for your manager to tell you to go along with the demand for additional resource without either allocating more to you or agreeing that another project has to be cut to some extent. Simply expecting you to sort it all out somehow is not good enough, for it fails to place appropriate responsibility with appropriate power. But in some situations, there can be no additional time or money available to satisfy the creative's legitimate, almost obligatory demands. If this is the case, the organisation must weigh up and accept the consequences of producing a less deeply creative product. The cancellation of the product as originally conceived, the possible resignation of the creative, other associated contractual obligations and reputational damage. It's not surprising, given this depressing list, that a bit of extra resource is usually found. 3 lessons emerge from all this. First, that you, the manager, will be wise not to expect the creative to act reasonably in your pragmatic eyes. Instead, you will know through your training that creativity is driven not by reason, but vision, and that vision comes without a predictable price tag. Secondly, the organisation will also know this inconvenient truth and have made at least some contingency provision for extra resources. Thirdly, and this perhaps is a modest attempt at conventional morality, a sensible organisation will not leave the junior manager hanging out to dry with the responsibility for getting it sorted, but without either the resources to carry that out or the courageous backup of senior management, sometimes to make tough but unavoidable decisions. Phew! This is tricky stuff. for this video has been about the treacherous zone where creativity and organisational pragmatism meet. It's an interface that will always be highly contested if the organisation demands the best creativity and consequently engages creatives who demand of themselves exactly the same. Come to our website at workingwithcreatives.co.uk to find out how we can help you navigate your way through this difficult area and other crucial aspects of working with creative people.